Hello everyone, welcome to today's video where today we're going to take a look at the Captain America and Venom 2-pack from Marvel Legends. It's the Gamerverse 2-pack and we're just going to get right into it. I don't have a lot of space on my phone to record right now and so we're not going to really look at the packaging or anything. We're just going to look at these two guys and yeah, we're going to have a little fun. Now I think this is how they came out of the package, but I also think this is how they came. But you know, there's the better head, which is the Venom head. So we're going to keep that on. So this is them, no accessories, nothing like that. This is just like base forms. We're actually going to start off with the Cap figure, because out of the two, this is the one I was less excited for, and the one I actually have played with a lot less. He's actually stayed in the package fairly much, like most of the time. I've really just been playing with the Venom, posing up the Venom, and I think that's because I don't have a good 6-inch Venom. I have the big Gamerverse one, and then I had like a Marvel Select one, which doesn't move well. And those are both really good figures, don't get me wrong. But, sorry, my cats are fighting and playing in the background. But, I have like 4 Captain Americas by now. Not all of them are Steve Rogers, but I'm going to let Captain America out from Marvel Legends. I do want to get the Mezco just because that would be my definitive Captain America, so that might be in the future. But, I mean, until they put a ball joint up here and then, like, do the reverse ab crunch like they've done with other figures that probably deserve it a little bit less than Cap, if we're being honest, I don't think I want another Marvel Legends Captain America. Don't get me wrong, these butterfly joints are essential, and I'm glad they finally added them. That's really the only difference, though, between this and this Captain America, you know. So we'll just get into that. So first off, these are the other Captain Americas that are in the collection, and I actually like them all, and they all work fairly well for what they're going for. This is a more classic, they're all pretty classic to me, but this is a more Secret Wars era. This is probably probably a little bit more modern, but not like crazy, you know, Ultimates modern. And then this guy, he's definitely, you know, Capcom, don't get me wrong, but he reminds me a lot of the cartoon versions, which is the Avengers cartoons I grew up on. I grew up on the comics as well, but I also grew up on the cartoons heavily, so this one fills that niche, and there's no, you know, you don't have the scale sculpt on there, which I think I would like, but I also like him without it. So yeah, it's basically the same exact Cap that we've gotten 100 times. Well, not 100 times, but a few times recently, and just added butterfly joints and a crazier head sculpt, which we'll look at that in a second. He's a good figure. He looks very nice. You got the more elongated star as opposed to the more classic star. The colors of blues are all pretty different from each other. These two match the best. But we're just, from now on, since this one is not pinless, from now on we're going to keep these two. Will be the comparison time photo things. So, yeah. They both look very good in their own ways, but I think this one I like a little more. There's less white on the arms, which I think is a little bit nicer. I think that's pretty much all that's cooler to me, honestly. Like the tone of blue I like better for this style. And then the boots I kind of like. They're a little bit more refined. They're not as wrinkly. So yeah, we'll take him out. And yeah, that's our Cap, man. His shield is small. This is the shield he comes with. This is the shield size I think it should be, you know. And they're touching. It looks like this one's like way up here. Now it is up here, but when I had it like that, it did too. I mean, it's a little bit ahead of it, but you touch them side to side. This one is way bigger. This one is not as imposing. And since this is not, I don't have a Gamerverse shelf at the moment. This is my 616 main display Captain America. So he'll be getting this shield. But even if they used this shield, I would have been more okay with it, because I feel like this effect would match pretty well with the Gamerverse stuff. But what they ended up going with instead was the smaller shield, and then they put a clip-on piece. Don't get me wrong, this does make it feel a little bit bigger, but you can't have this on there all the time. I mean, you can, but it's not always going to look practical. It's going to look a little goofy. So, yeah, it's that standard hinge clip. Yeah, it works, but that is prone to breakage, so I might end up getting a custom shield for this guy. And then he also comes with a screaming head sculpt, which is nice, don't get me wrong, but it's so exaggerated, I don't know if I'll ever use it. And then I would have liked him to come with 2 grips, but he does come with 2 hands I don't think we've seen from any Marvel Legends. 2 thumbs up fingers. Well, I think the Maximum Deadpool has these. But, yeah, so these are nice to have for him. And that's it. You get all that, and that's all you get. He still has more than Venom, but I do wish he would have came with, you know, a less screaming, more angry head sculpt. And then I have a couple other head sculpts I would have liked them to have, but I don't have them on hand right now. So this is the only one that I think I really would have wanted. The smiling one would have been cool. I think eventually we'll get a maximum cap and he'll have all the different head sculpts that you could want. The other thing is, I don't have the unmasked Steve Rogers head sculpt, but I do have the unmasked piece, and I have this this head sculpt, and we're going to pop that on there. Just to give you an idea of what a blonde head looks like on this body, it looks fine. This is not exactly my perfect Steve Rogers, but I think it looks better for Steve Rogers than it does for Flash Thompson, if that does anything for you. And then I actually have a couple more head sculpts. We'll do this one. This is the unmasked Bruce Wayne head sculpt from Mezco, from one of their Batmans. And I think that works for an old Steve Rogers, actually. I use this for a lot of old people heads because I just like it so much. And then, I know it's not, like, accurate to anything, but if you're a kit basher and you want this as a blank body, I mean, you could do something cool with that, I feel like. I feel like this would be something you would see in Capcom, honestly. But, yeah, we'll put his classic head back on. And then we'll get into Venom. Alright, we'll put Steve just off to the side here. And yeah, so Steve was all pinless, and that's the thing that gives him a little bit more of a edge over Brock here. He still has pin legs. I can't wait till the day we move on from pin legs, because I don't mind them aesthetically. I never have. They're an action figure. I'm okay with seeing the joints. They're just not as sturdy, and they won't hold up the time, especially on the female action figures. They get really bow-legged. So hopefully we move to all pinless pretty soon. So yeah, this is just the, what was it? It was the retro carded, recently Walmart exclusive, but painted blue. And honestly, I'm one of those people. I wanted this Venom more than I wanted the Captain America, like I said. I love blue Venom. I always love this paint scheme. Don't get me wrong, it doesn't replace the black. Purple is the one that is my favorite, though. But I do like blue Venom, and I feel like it fits the 90s pretty well. And it'll go well with Carnage and Spider-Man, as we'll take a look at in a second. So, yeah, he looks great. Everyone knows the articulation. He's got good butterfly joints. Same with Cap, by the way. Cap's butterfly joints are nice. And then this just has all the same articulation as the 20th anniversary and the Secret Wars. But this guy, you can get the arms all the way back. You can get them pretty far forward. You got double jointed elbows, which work when it's not cold out. They work even better. You got the head that can look up to there, bury the chin, do some pretty good head tiltage for Marvel Legends. That's on a hinge, you know. And then you got the setup I actually wanted Cap to have, which I wish he had. When this was first revealed, I was really excited because I thought he did have a ball joint up there. But you got the ball joint up at the top, which you get all your tiltage, and you get a little crunch and a little crunch back. But then you have the reverse ab crunch, which you get a little bit more. Still not great, not the range I would want for a Venom, but better than just a crunch, honestly. And then you have, the hips are not great. They do not kick out very well for a Venom especially. So, yeah, that's sad. The upper thigh swivel, which works better if you just twist it all the way around, because it does not want to twist that way. And then double jointed pinned knees, sad. And then you got hinge forward. And yeah, you can get this guy into some pretty cool poses. Especially if you implore his beautiful extra hands, which are hands every Venom should come with. And that's the clawed hands. Now for me, I wish, honestly, we would have gotten 2 of these, because these work really well for gripping on characters, like you want Spidey by the throat, and then 2 of these. I want, I want some symmetrical hands, so that would have been nice. And then also, we get this really cool head, which it is really cool. I do really like this head. And it's Eddie Brock being swallowed by the symbiote. I like to pose it like he's trying to rip it away, and, like going crazy, like trying to rip it off of his face. Something like that. My only thing is, I wish we had a non-tongue Venom head, blue Venom head, because otherwise I'm going to have to paint everyone is going to have to paint the head. And that's not great. You don't want that. I mean, if you can help it, you don't want to have to paint stuff and customize stuff. But, yeah, so what we're going to do is, we're going to put these guys stood up straighter. As straight as humanly possible. We're going to keep the Eddie Brock sculpt on there, because I like that sculpt too. And we're going to get into some size comparisons. We're going to start out with the 20th anniversary cap, like I already showed. Just to show how far we've come, even in the past, 4 years? So, yeah. This is the Secret Wars cap. And then we're going to get into the comparisons I really want to see. So, this is Red Skull next to Cap. This is if you're wanting to do comic book. Here's Arnim Zola next to Cap. This is if you're wanting to do the comic book shelf, And those are for Cap, not for... You don't need to really see those next to Venom, but you get to see them. And then we have a couple Venoms. Here's the Diamond Select Venom, which is an awesome figure. Like, it holds up. If it had better joints, I think this would still be the best Venom on the market, but it's been outclassed. But it is still a great figure. And the Marvel Legends is honestly... It's shorter, obviously, but it's not as short as you would think. So, yeah, I really like that figure. And then we have the cel-shaded Spidey and the new Marvel Legends Anti-Venom. I was going to get the Amazing Yamaguchi out, but I didn't want to take him out of his badass pose. I have him on my Marvel Night shelf. So, yeah, these all look great. I think I would like a blue like this on a Spidey, just to see it, because... I like blue on my Venom. I don't care what anyone says. I like blue on Venom. And then we're going to go... We got the Max Spidey. Here, it's the Maximum Spidey. I had him in a weird pose, so forgive me. And yeah, with this Venom and this Carnage, this is the Secret... Not Secret Wars. The one from that 2-pack with Spidey, actually. From the VHS series. Sorry, I had him posed up, and I did not think to take him out of his pose before I started recording. He's a little shorter than Venom. Perfect world, he'd be taller than Spidey, but shorter than Venom. But I don't mind that size between these two. Like I said, perfect world, Spidey would be shorter than him, but I really use the Amazing Fantasy mold for my Spidey, so... my favorite version of Spidey in Marvel Legends is smaller than the Carnage, so. And then we only have 2 Capcom characters. I'm sorry about that. I don't really have a lot of Capcom characters in my collection. I do look to get more, especially some Resident Evil stuff. That would be nice to get more Resident Evil type stuff. But I do have the Jada Toys Mega Man, which is a severely underrated figure. I feel like he does not get talked about enough. And then the Jada Toys Cammy from Street Fighter. And this is the only Street Fighter figure I have, because Cammy is my favorite Street Fighter character. But I do want to get Chun-Li and Ryu and Ken and Blanca, E Honda would be cool. Zangief would be really cool. So yeah. And then just to have I have some more video game characters. This is the movie Tales. my favorite Sonic character. And then the movie Sonic. And then the movie Knuckles. These are the first round from the second movie. And yeah, they're all pretty cool. They don't pose as well as those new ones, but I still like these guys. And they scale pretty well with my other figures. And then next we have the Jazzwares. What is his name? I can't even think of his name right now. Beef Boss and Tomato Head. They look nice. And then I really don't have a lot more to show. I have, well, I'm just going to lay, well, I don't want to lay them down. This is a body that I think is really big and I like as well. And without that tail, I would have wanted to see a Venom on it, but you look at it next to that and no, you want Venom bigger than that. But this is the Meowscles from Hasbro, actually. And then just to get a cap in here, another cap. Here's my favorite cap. And yeah, as you see, he's taller than Steve, but I don't mind that. And then we'll do two more. So, I know Cyclops is in Street Fighter, but I don't think... I mean, you could use this version. I just have this on him right now because I really like that look. I think I've always liked this as opposed to the exposed hair, but I like this, the splash color this spring, so I thought they looked cool to combined. So that's what he looks like up there. And then, just for a little bit more 90s goodness, here is the Mofex Hush Nightwing. And just because, you know, he's on hand and he's a 90s character. I don't really have much more we can do. I don't have any other Gamerverse characters at the moment. I do plan on getting them. But if you want to see them posed up next to a Wolverine, it's not the Gamerverse Wolverine, but here's Hot Claws Wolverine. And I have him kind of geared up, so... Yeah, that's a... Wait, I forgot the most important one. Here's the Gamerverse from Marvel Spider-Man 2 Venom. And you gotta kind of put the camera up there to see how big he is compared to them. So yeah, he's 19 inches of Venom, alright. So yeah, these guys are pretty cool. And I honestly glad I got them. I do plan on picking up the other 2-packs. Especially I want to get Psylocke eventually. And I really actually want the Thanos as well. So, thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.